Hello everybody, and welcome back to Steven's Fight Show. Alright, so a start of a new year. I hope everybody that is watching this video had a good New Year's. I hope you set out some great goals and hopefully you achieve them. Hope everybody is going to take care of themselves better this year. Hope everybody is doing whatever they can to improve their mental health. And I hope everybody that is watching this video continues to improve their relationships in their life. Okay, so Gervonta Tank Davis is returning to the ring this Saturday against Hector Luis Garcia. This is the tune-up fight for him to eventually fight Ryan Garcia, the fight that many fans have been patiently waiting for so long. And if Tank wins this fight, there are no excuses for the fight versus Ryan to not happen. We already know boxing is known for not putting together fights that fans want to see. And I've been saying this is the main reason why boxing has slowed down for the last decade or so. And it's funny because professional boxing fighters, promoters, and experts often criticize influencer boxing to be a joke, but they have bigger problems in boxing, and one of them is making fights between the best happen. For boxing to elevate into an exciting sport again, fights like Tank vs Ryan has to happen. It brings fans from all over the world together and it draws more attention and noise. We have two different fan bases colliding, which makes this fight so exciting. However, even though we're talking about Tank and Ryan fighting very soon, hopefully, this video is all about Tank. If you aren't aware, both Tank and Ryan have reportedly agreed to terms to a potential fight in early 2023. In preparing for those fights, Tank and Ryan were scheduled to fight a tune-up fight, which means a warm-up fight before fighting each other. However, Ryan Garcia had a change of plans and decided to not take the tune-up fight. Instead, he opts to focus his time on training for the big fight when the time comes. And like I said again, I'll have a whole nother video planned if Tank and Ryan were to fight. But let's talk about Tank. So not only will Tank be throwing down in the ring, but apparently he threw down with his daughter's mother before the fight. So if you aren't keeping up with what's been happening, about a week ago, Tank was accused of assaulting the mother of his child. He was jailed overnight and charged with battery causing bodily harm. And I had a whole nother video dedicating to this topic because there were no fights scheduled at the time. And on social media, Tank was getting insane backlash for this situation, but the woman did come out and publicly say that Tank did not harm her or their daughter. So knowing this, I decided to not release my video because, let's just say, I was going in on Tank. Pause. So now that we have established that Tank didn't do a madness, let's talk about this fight that's coming up. Although this is a tune-up, the guy that Tank is fighting is not terrible. I don't think Hector Garcia is going to be someone that's going to lie down in front of Tank. But don't get it twisted, Hector Garcia is not a threat at all. Or at least he shouldn't be. He's a good fighter, but he shouldn't be a big threat to Tank. You read the title of this video. Even though there's not a lot of pressure on this fight for Tank, Tank needs to make a statement in this fight. If we're going off of how both guys have been looking recently, I would say it's fairly even. I thought Tank looked very well against Rolly in his last fight. I feel like he should have deserved more credit than what people are giving him. People were saying he was losing rounds before the finish, but personally for me, I don't think so. The fight ended in the 6th round, and I believe he was winning 3-2 on my scorecard. His IQ in that fight was brilliant. The way he baited Rolly to come forward and set him up for that left hand was exceptional. If you watch the entire fight, you would see what Tank was trying to do all along. And Rolly never saw it, and as a result, he paid the price. Ryan Garcia, he had a dominant performance against Javier Fortuna, who's not a tune-up. Instead, he's a good fighter, but Ryan made him look easy. Ryan just broke him down and picked him apart, and eventually he finished him. For Tank to have all the leverage in odds, promotion, and fans, he needs to not only finish this fight, but also look flawless. He needs to send a message to Ryan letting him know that he's the man in their fight. Because I truly believe that Ryan thinks he's going to knock Tank out in 2 rounds. So for Tank to finish this fight without any scratches, I think that's going to be absolutely huge for him. And surprisingly, I don't know why, but a lot of people think that Tank is going to smoke Ryan easily in their fight. But I guarantee you right now, it will be a competitive fight. Tank has to go out there and pretty much put up the performance of his career for 2 reasons. 1, it lets Ryan know that he's ready for war. Remember, Ryan doesn't believe that him and Tank are on the same level. And I understand that Tank doesn't need to prove to Ryan, but he also needs to prove to the entire world that if he's going to be the one to win this fight, he needs to show that he is the top dog in their matchup. 2, it gives him all the confidence heading into their fight. Because remember, Ryan Garcia turned down the tune-up. Tank could walk into the fight having that reassurance that he's been more active, which can give him an edge mentally in their fight. He's got the rounds and the reps in, he's got the mistakes out of the way, and now he can turn his attention to the big fight between him and Ryan. Alright, so now let's discuss about how I think this fight is going to go. I think Tank will win this fight late. Or more so, I think he's gonna win this fight just right before we go to the championship rounds. Hector Luis Garcia is a fast, slick boxer. He's got a good active jab, he attacks the body with a straight left, he can also counterpunch very well as well. And like Tank, he also has that counter left uppercut in his arsenal as well. He looks fluid and relaxed when he fights, which is important because it helps keep you composed. However, I don't think Hector Garcia will make it through 12 rounds against Tank. Early on, I think Hector Garcia will have a better start. He'll start fast where he'll throw the jab and try to land the straight left to the head or down to the body. I think he'll also try to outwork Tank and win rounds through volume. Tank, he's not always a fast starter, and in fact, I think he's going to have to take a few rounds to get settled and figure Hector Garcia out. And when you're being active against Tank, it either works very well or horribly wrong. Against Isaac Cruz, Pitbull was able to have a lot of success against Tank with his pressure, body work, and inside fighting. However, against Leo Santa Cruz, we saw what happened. The man flatlined him with a brutal uppercut. And I think the difference between both of those fights was the size and power of Isaac Cruz, and I think it's also a matter of how disciplined you are defensively and how precise you can land. So going back to this fight, if Hector Garcia isn't aware and alert of punches coming back from Tank, then there's a chance that Tank could shut him out quickly. He is the smaller fighter in terms of size, which already puts him at a disadvantage. I've already said that I think Tank is going to lose the early rounds, but within those rounds, I see Tank trying to land some hard counter shots in the first few rounds, but I don't think they're going to land as clean as he wants them to. And as the fight goes on, I think Tank will turn up the pace and try to increase the pressure where he gets on the inside to break Hector Garcia down. A bit of how he fought Leo Santa Cruz, where he didn't give Santa Cruz any room to breathe, and instead he was cutting off the ring, landing body shots, and throwing combinations. Some of the rounds could swing towards Hector Garcia because I envision Tank creeping into range with that active high guard where he's catching punches and returning with a couple of his own. However, the thing is, when you employ that kind of strategy, you're in a position to be hit. And although Hector Garcia is not a power puncher, in boxing it only takes the right punch at the right time and at the right moment. I think from rounds 7 through 9, that's where Tank is going to wear Hector Garcia down and he'll stop him with a TKO finish. I think he'll knock him down with a hard shot that wobbles him, and eventually another punch like a right hook will land and Tank finishes the fight with a highlight reel finish. I personally think that it's going to be a difficult task for Hector Garcia to get Tank off of him when he starts to get going. Tank is the type of fighter to take 2 and land 3 or 4 punches when he's on the front foot being aggressive. And since he's the more powerful fighter, it's going to be tough for Hector Garcia to maneuver around it. I think Tank's IQ will once again be displayed, where he'll understand where he needs to be to win the fight, the setups that he's going to throw, and how he'll unlock the finish. I think this is something that is extremely underrated about Tank, and we'll see more of it come Saturday. I'm not gonna lie, even though that's how I think the fight is going to play out, I sure hope Tank does more to not only surprise people, but let's just say if he struggles in this fight, that's going to eliminate some of the hype for the Ryan fight. And on the other hand, if he wins by a large comfortable margin, where he puts up a stellar performance, and people are going to be hyped and they'll for sure tune in to the fight once again, if the fight does indeed happen. And that is it, guys. Thank you guys so much for listening to what I have to say. And let me know what you guys think. How do you think the fight plays out between Tank and Hector Garcia? Do you think Tank puts up a fantastic performance where he makes a statement to Ryan Garcia? Do you think Tank versus Ryan will indeed happen at all? Drop a comment and let me know in the comment section down below. Now, if you guys enjoy content that is related to combat sports, please drop a like on this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel down below. That would be greatly appreciated. And make sure you guys follow me on my Twitter as well. I post a lot of tweets about combat sports, about fight news, fight updates, and together we can interact and have conversation about fights, and in that way we can slowly build our community. And other than that, it's been Steven signing out. Peace!